This video we're going to be taking a look at a game called Prince of Persia Rival Swords for the PSP, being played on the PS Vita. I bought Prince of Persia Rival Swords recently because it was on sale. Well, it wasn't on sale, there were other games on sale, and I thought I'd pick up this PSP game to see how it performs on my PS Vita. I also bought Dragon's Crown, Velocity Ultra, both great games. So, Prince of Persia Rival Swords came out a long time back on the PSP, and from what I've heard, this is the full game that is similar to what was on the consoles, only with downgraded graphics and a little bit of a difference on the control schemes. The first thing I noticed when I loaded up Prince of Persia on my Vita, being a PSP game, what you can do is you can add bilinear filtering, which kind of makes the edges smoother of the textures, and it's not as crisp, but it looks cleaner in a way, or smoother. So there's definitely a huge difference between the PSP version and the PSP version being played on the Vita. So it's on over here. And the colors look great too, since it's an OLED screen. You'd kind of expect that. The newer Vita, unfortunately, is pretty much like a PSP screen, so I don't know about that. But on the older Vita, which I have with the OLED screen, it looks excellent. There's a huge difference. The mechanics in Prince of Persia are pretty solid for the most part, but being a PSP game, they did make some compromises when it comes to the controls, which would mainly consist of the camera angles. Because the PSP only had one analog nub, the way camera controls work is kind of clunky, in that you would press the left button to recenter your screen and it would look towards the direction you're facing. You also have a free roam mode, or free look mode, sorry, where you hold your bumper, your left bumper, and you can look around. This works okay for the most parts, but in really fast action sequences it is a bit of a problem. Well, let me get this leap over here. The other mechanics in this game are very interesting. Like, I love the mechanics because it has very solid platforming, or challenging platforming, I would say, and the combat is weak. Which I'll talk about later. But the platforming really makes this game interesting, where you jump and leap from, place to place. It also has stealth in it, which works well. I would recommend playing this game like a stealth game, where you sneak up behind enemies and kill them, because that way you would have a much better experience on the PSP or the PS Vita. Let me do something here. Alright. This has the time mechanic where you can reverse time. You can go. Oh, I screwed up here. So that was basically something like this. How the stealth mechanic works, where you have to time your attacks and beat your enemies. If you don't time your attacks, it gets pretty hard, because these guards, they are pretty ruthless. They're gonna keep calling other enforcements. Not in every place, but in most places they call enforcements and they will kill you. The combat is very clunky because the hit detection is basically non-existent. You can't tell whether you've hit the enemy or not, since the sound is so low. Even on the highest volume setting, it's not that great. Like, when I swing my sword, I'd like to feel that I'm actually hitting something, but you don't feel that in this. On the bigger console versions, I'm sure it's much better. I haven't played them, but on the PSP, that is an issue for the most part. That's why I prefer playing it as a stealth game. It works much better that way. Okay, I have to go down from here. Since this game is made by Ubisoft, if you've played Assassin's Creed, you'd notice that there are a lot of similarities, since this is what I think formed the basis for a lot of the mechanics in Assassin's Creed. I think the platforming is much better on Prince of Persia compared to Assassin's Creed, where you basically press B and you can, everything works out. But this is more challenging, and I like that. But the controls are iffy. The controls are very iffy in this. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work so great. Okay, jump here. There are very cool sequences, like this sequence where you slide down. It's very nice, like the way it's done. I just wish that the controls were a bit better, or you really have to time your attacks well. Otherwise, it's just very hard to kill enemies. The story is okay. If you've seen the movie, quite similar to the movie. I don't know the ending since I haven't finished this, but there are similarities. And the graphics for the most part are still, you know, they look a little bit dated, but it's very playable. You know, it's not too bad on the eyes. So this is Prince of Persia. Thank you for watching the video. If you like it, go ahead and like it. If you dislike it, go ahead and dislike it, and do subscribe. And once again, thank you for watching.